First podcast, how do you feel?
I feel excited, especially because it's with you, and I was very excited and also kind of nervous to go on a podcast, but I think that this is just perfect. So yeah, I'm
Feel like
excited.
it's the right fit?
I think it's the right fit, yeah.
But I mean, I don't think there's anyone better to represent the Next Gen. So, hey
Exactly.
guys, today on the Next Gen podcast, we have no other than Miss Suhana Gill. Suhana, we were Googling her actually. Let's hop right into it.
Yeah.
First of all, she's not 23, she's 19.
No.
So if you Google her and it says she's 23, I mean, you act like you're...
A lot of people even say that I'm 23 because of if they search my name up, for some reason 23 pops up, but I'm not that old.
You're a baby.
I mean, my last year's of the teens, so we're almost done with 19, but it's going to be 20.
It's insane. How do you feel?
I feel excited, but I also do feel like I'm a 45-year-old trapped in a 19-year-old's body. I say this all the time. I feel like I'm 60 and my knees are going old and I'm just I'm tired and I just want to stay in and everything, but I'm excited.
I think honestly, ever since, for those who know, I feel like people always see both of us out together at the same events, and Suhana is literally my baby sister. I love this girl to death, but people will sometimes think you're older than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I get that a lot, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
no.
I'm the older sister in some cases, right?
Definitely. I think there's definitely been times that you really do look like the older sister.
I think so. I don't know what it is. A lot of people naturally think that I'm older than I am, and I don't blame them because I feel like, one, it's the way you carry yourself too.
Yeah.
And I feel like both of us are very mature the way we carry ourselves and the way we present ourselves. But I think it's different for them because in others' minds, a young person is somebody that, one, doesn't wear a blazer, one doesn't go to these events, and it's completely different for them, right? Because in their perspective, a young person is somebody who's staying home watching Netflix and doing God knows what.
We get the Gen Z's lazy title
Yeah,
a lot.
we get that a lot. I'm just that's not the case
We're
for
out
us.
and about.
Yeah, we're doing our
and
work.
there's so many people, honestly, that are our age that are doing amazing things, but 100%. I think sometimes it's hard to get the credit or also get taken seriously. Yeah. I think is a huge thing.
Yeah, and that's been something that I've faced a lot too. I mean, especially after I graduated and I got into the community, people are like, yeah, it's nice to see a young person at the forefront of everything, but it's also her time will come eventually, and I'm just what do you mean my time will come
eventually?
Because it's if you want to create change, if you want to do something in the community that has a meaningful impact, you can do it now. You could be 10 years old and still make an impact. Yeah. And we've seen this happen throughout the world too. So it's I feel like we need to get this myth out of the community where the age is correlated to the work that you're able to do.
Oh, 100%. Because honestly, I also think when you're younger, you don't feel like anything's a no just yet.
Yeah.
Because I think we dream so much bigger because we haven't. People can say, okay, you haven't seen harsh reality yet, but by dreaming or trying to achieve super, super high, what, if you miss the moon, you land amongst the stars.
Yeah.
So you're bound to still do something different. And I 100% agree with you, where in our community, there's a little bit of hesitation and friction. Yeah. Where they think you're so young, I don't know if you can do it. But it's almost the opposite, where I think we were just talking about it. We are in the landscape of AI, social media, everything's online. And I don't know anybody better to tackle that than the Next Gen.
Yeah. I mean, we see the younger generation, Gen Z, is doing so much already. It's what more is to happen? It's completely mind-boggling too, and it's so exciting to see that happen because young people are at the forefront of everything. All these things that we see are changing and evolving constantly. Young people are pushing forward for all of these. They speak up, they demand action, and that's just the beauty of our generation.
Hi guys, this episode is sponsored by Four Seasons Media. For all your social and digital marketing needs, you know who to call. They promote your business, they create your reels, they create your website, they do your AI agents, and also all your target marketing. So why wouldn't you call them? The phone number is 604-506-6012, and thank you for sponsoring this episode of The Next Gen. I think Gen Z really, we get that a lot. We're super transparent and we're honest. Do you think that we are honest, or do you think that we're blunt? I think that I would lean towards honest, but people do say we're really blunt.
I think honesty for so long has been something that's been concealed, and people think that bluntness is rude, but it's really not. Yeah. Because what I believe is if you're honest, you're being transparent and you're being very clear, and I feel like people aren't used to that nowadays too, because everybody wants to hear what only they want to hear, right? They don't want to hear the honest truth. And I feel like with our generation, being honest means to be speaking up for things that even if they don't sound right, it just because they have an impact in the community and they want to see that change happen. So I think it's not bluntness, I think it is honesty, because at the end of the day, we want to get action done, and we don't want to keep on speaking about things but not have the action delivered, right? We've seen this happen over and over again. So
and I also think we are the first generation that has so much knowledge at our fingertips, where it's not hard for people to figure things out. So why not just be honest about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't think the shock value is the same to us as it was to previous generations that weren't really able to like Google it or
Not
see
at all,
something
yeah.
live on TikTok or see something live on Twitter, which, don't get me wrong, I will say like has its benefits, but also has a lot of negatives. Like, we've seen way more than I think we need to see.
There's always pros and cons with all this kind of stuff too, but it's just the way we go about it, and I feel like it's each to their own too, like the way they utilize things. With us, for social media has been something that's been able to allow us to actually make an impact in the community, because the way you use social media, the way I use social media, it's to make sure people are aware of the right things and actually getting action done and speaking up for what they believe in and just doing who they are, what they are, and making it an action.
Honestly, I think it's the movement. Like, we need to see momentum. We need to see stuff changing.
Yeah.
And I think you just touched on it when we said you were 19. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Ms. Suhana Gill, how did you know that, for those that don't know, Suhana actually graduated high school at 16.
Yeah.
And now you're graduating university at 19 or 20.
Yes, 19.
19, which is pretty insane. Like, congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you. When did you know that that's what you wanted to do?
So this was actually during a time of COVID. I was so used to already being volunteering. I played soccer, I did swimming. I was constantly involved within activities. And then out of nowhere, everything shuts down, right? It's like, I'm not used to this. The first month was so hard to get through. I remember just sitting at home like, oh my God, I cannot do this any longer. I can't wait back to go to school, because I've always been somebody that's like to be doing things constantly and making sure that I stay up to date. I'm making an impact, and I know that I've made something actionable occur. So what happened was, during COVID, I was like, there's no way I'm going to stay home and do nothing, right? It can't happen. And so I went on the school district's website, and I was like, I wonder if there's any way I could take courses earlier. And so, because I remember when I was at home during COVID, during quarantine, I finished all my homework within like a week because I was so bored. And I'm like, I have nothing to do.
What else is there to do, right?
Right, and I mean, Netflix was fun and everything too, but it's like, I wanted to make sure that I was using my time effectively, and I feel like during that time, it was, a lot of people, like, they weren't aware what to do. I was like, how do I utilize this time? And me being young, I was like, okay, let me go on the district's website and search up other programs they may have. And so then I came across like courses that you could take, and I realized that there's a lot of people taking electives up ahead early. And so I took a couple electives, and then I decided I'm going to take a few courses like English, science, math, and I did that. And then by the time school opened up, I was already a grade ahead. And this wasn't something I even planned. This was just kind of because I was using my time up constantly, and I was making sure that I could belt out a bunch of assignments whenever and wherever. And by the time I got back to school, I was a year ahead. I'm like, you know what, I want to do another year. And then it just kind of happened by itself.
It almost became like, I feel like a competition, right? Like, if you could do one, why can't you do another one?
I'm going to see if I can do this. It wasn't even like, a lot of people asked me, like, did your parents like force you to do this?
I was honestly going to ask, because like, was it an idea from that end? Because your parents are really sweet. And
they're
honestly
so chill.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I get this question asked so many times. People are like, do your parents make you do all this? Is it them that's forcing all this? And I'm just like, they were like, take your time. You want to enjoy these moments. You want to take your sweet time. But in my mind, it's like, you know, when you have that inner calling, it's like, you know, you can achieve more greater things. It's like that inner, like at the back of your mind, you have that thought. And I feel like for me, that thought came in very early on. And so I was like, no, I know I can do this. I know what I can achieve, and I'm capable of doing so.
So why not do it?
But don't get me wrong. There was days that I was just like, I was crying. I was tired. And I was just like, what did I get myself into? But I also knew that there's a reason for all this to happen, right? And I knew that at the end of the day, I would be so, so happy and proud of myself for getting it done. It wasn't even to make sure like others knew. It was for myself, knowing that I got all this done. Because by the time we got back to school, I mean, sports weren't even really open too. So I was like, might as well see what I can do. And thank God I got all of that done, and it was a good process afterwards too, and it was nice to see how even the teachers themselves, they were shocked. They're like, how are you going to get this done? I went into like the counselor's room, and I was like, okay, these are the courses I'm taking. They're like, are you sure you're going to be able to do this? And like everybody was confused, but it happened and it all worked out.
You're done, and you did it. And I also think it's that belief in yourself that you need to have 100%. More than anything else, because even now, if you had people saying, oh, this is really hard, and you listened, it would take away from the drive that you had to get it done, because you did.
But I feel like I'm also very stubborn, because if I want to get something done,
the exact same way.
This is why we get along so well, because if we put our minds to something, we get it done, and we know, because we know we're capable of getting it done. So why let others stop us from achieving our goals, right? Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's like that quote, right? It's not whether you think you can or can't, you're right. And I feel like with that is so applicable, and we always make sure that we are able to achieve everything we put our minds to.
I think with the stubbornness helps.
Oh, without a doubt.
100%.
We're always stubborn with everything, but you have to have it, right? Like, you have to have that stubbornness, because life gets hard. There's always going to be ups and downs. Nothing is ever smooth.
And I think what it is, too, is we're both very optimistic and stubborn at the same time, where it's like, if I want this done, and let's just say for some reason, if it's leading up to an event or something happens, if my team or whoever I'm supposed to, I feel like for you this applied a lot to like group assignments. If people can't get it done, I will still do it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you'll give up sleep, you'll give up X, you'll give up Y. But if I said I'm going to get it done in some way, shape, or form, I will get that done.
We'll make the sacrifices in order to get the achievement done, right? Because I feel like, like I had said, nothing's ever really smooth in life, but it's also, you learn at a young age too. You have to have that grit, and I feel like grit gets so much done, and you get through so much in life. And if you learn this early on, it's much more smoother at the end, right?
Suffer now, enjoy later.
Yeah.
Which I think, again, is a little bit like trauma response from us too. I think just immigrant families.
Inner brown girl talk.
The inner brown girl talk, where it's honestly a lot of that, where you feel like you can't stop, or like what's next. We become really, like the validation comes from achievement. Like I feel like that's kind of hard to walk away from. But it's the same thing that you say, like grit. And I feel like I have so many people asking me, oh, like why do you work X amount of hours? Or maybe even, oh, like, but there's other things you could do, or I just clock in and clock out at work and that's all I need to be doing. And then it always comes back to me with like grit, because I saw my parents do so much. And I feel like it's been instilled in us at such a young age that you need to work to get things.
You worded it so beautifully. That is so true. And honestly, it's not even like you constantly have to do things. It's just like it's built in us, right? We know we are able to achieve all of this. And it's also like it motivates other younger people to show them that you too can achieve a lot. It's not like you have to wait later on until you're 30 to get all these things done. And I feel like that also constant like competitiveness with ourselves too, because like you're competing with yourself, I'm competing with myself, and it's to see how great we can become as an individual too, because like greatness has no limits, and we're trying to see how far we can go too, right?
And it's fun, and I think we're young and we have the energy.
Which without a doubt,
people always say it's like, oh, like, and I do worry for you sometimes. I say this to you all the time. Like I feel like so much of your life has been like really, really productive, where like I know that I was doing so much with my friends after school when it came to high school, but I know you were locked in. Same with university, being done at 19, taking 5 classes a semester. It doesn't leave too much room for anything else. And then you also have, you're doing your activism. You're also on, do you want to tell them what committee board we're on?
So I'm on the ECC committee, which is the Environment and Climate Change Committee for the City of Surrey. I serve on a couple of boards with the Surrey Cares Foundation, and I'm also I was just recently appointed to the Senate's Young Feminist Council.
Which we love. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Miss. What, 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was announced 2 days ago. I got the notification like a month ago, but I just said, okay.
Fair enough.
And it was, so basically what that is, it's a national board where they've selected people from each province to kind of represent the younger generation and make sure we can push forward on policies and issues that the young generation are facing and make an impact. But so I serve on a couple of committees. I do a lot of nonprofit work and just a lot of advocacy work for civic engagement for young people. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the core of it all is to make sure young people are aware of how powerful they are as a generation and how much they can succeed in life. But back to your topic about me not having a lot of time. Honestly, I feel like I get this question a lot too. It's like, oh, do you even get time to have fun? And I feel like the way I perceive fun is much more different than others too.
Yeah.
And I think, because even when I was younger, I was never a person who liked to go out a lot. I liked to stay home. I was very like reserved.
You're a homebody.
I was such a homebody, and it was like
we always say that you were the princess.
Yeah, no, honestly, because I was like, you know, Rapunzel's at home, but she was trapped home. It's like I wanted to be home, right?
You're like, please lock me in.
Yeah, because like I was always doing things constantly at home too. Like I was like putting puzzles together when I was younger. Like I was doing the most random things. I didn't want to go out and play with the other kids too. It was just like, I want to keep to myself. I want to read a book. I want to do homework. I want to play soccer in the backyard. I want to practice. It was just like a constant, like, I want to improve. And I feel like this was built on such an early age. It's not even like I grew up and I was like, oh, I'm lacking the fun. It's like, this is my fun. The achievements, the work that I get done, the impact I make, that is my fun to me. And I feel like, especially once I was like graduated and I got more involved in the community, going to events with you, like hanging out afterwards.
That part becomes fun.
Yeah, like you get a sense of, I mean, like, you never stop growing as an individual. You learn more about yourself, and I feel like I did learn that more about myself, that I do like to go to these events and network and meet new people. But I feel like at the end of the day, fun for me is one, to constantly evolve and make an impact in the community and just kind of become the best version of myself.
And I feel like people will almost judge that statement sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that I didn't really see it before I met you, because to me and my brown parents, let's just say, for example, if I partied less, they probably would have been really happy. But in my head, from that like 19 to 22, I was like, this is what fun's supposed to be. And I think I recently shifted into where like I like going to these events. I like networking. Like you become so passionate about what you're doing that it becomes fun. Like I love this.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice kind of the other side of it till I met you, where people almost make you feel pressure that you should be. It doesn't even have to be drinking, but like drinking, partying, staying out late. Like that might be a niche fun for some people, but it doesn't have to be fun for you.
No, it doesn't seem fun to me. That thought of doing all that kind of like, it overstimulates me just thinking about it, because I feel like I had said, I'm such a homebody, and just to think, it's not even like, I didn't like, a lot of people like, do you like miss the moments of those teenage experiences? In my mind, I'm like, I don't miss them. And I say this so honestly because I feel like I didn't miss out on anything in life, because I feel like everything that's meant to be is meant to be. Everything that's written is already written in your destiny. And it just like, everybody has their own lives and the paths they have, right? It's like I didn't miss out on anything that wasn't meant to be for me.
Exactly.
And so it's like when I look back, there's no point of looking back, because everything that happened for a reason, and there's no point of being like, oh, I wish I had done this, because
there's no point.
I feel like regret holds you back so much, and there's no point of having that, because it's important to look at the present being and also the future of what can happen too. So no regrets there, nothing to look back on. I enjoyed everything. I was very happy with everything, and I look forward to what's to come. So
Thanks. But I think that's also such a positive way of looking at it, because I feel the exact same way. People will be like, oh, look, I should have done this, or even like business moves wise, oh, like if I started this earlier. And my whole thing is I wouldn't be who I am today if I changed anything that happened.
Everything has its own time.
Yeah, and honestly, even the bad stuff, like you need the bad stuff to have the good stuff later.
It shapes who you are as an individual. And I feel like, honestly, like, this may be kind of controversial to say, all the bad things that happen in life, I feel like they are the things that test you the most. Yeah. And that's what quite like leads you to the achievements in life, because like you can't just always expect the good to happen in life, right? And that doesn't let you grow. And I feel like to see all the things all the barriers that you go through, it tests you as a human being, as who you are really. And so there's no point of looking back, like you said, regret. It's just something that it's in our mind. And if you look back, I mean, we'll never be able to move forward. So it's like, I don't ever look back. I think that everything that happened for a reason, and I'm more than satisfied with everything.
That's good. And I feel like now that's clear for everybody too.
Make that clear. Yeah, I don't regret anything, because everything that was meant to be happened, and I'm happy with everything that happened. And honestly, it's just the way it was, and I'm excited.
Suhana will not be having a midlife crisis.
I won't.
Clear. Point blank. At least we're honest.
Yeah, no, because I feel like this is something that a lot of people did assume, that it was like somebody maybe like forcing her to do all this kind of stuff, or maybe she's like regretting a lot of things she missed out on. But it's never been the case for anything. It's always been like, I'm happy with who I am, and there's not a single thing I would change about it. I am who I am, and I'm pleased with everything.
That's good. That's what you want too.
Yeah.
You want to be like so secure, but also I think you were probably very confident from a young age too.
Yeah, me and my chubby little self was the most confident gal you'd ever come across.
It's okay, I was 120 pounds in grade 4. Like, I don't know, like, a same fat phase, so we were there.
No, yeah, but even when I was younger, I remember always being like the person who was like always putting my hand up in class, always making sure I could get involved in anything.
Did you ever get picked on for being a teacher's pet? All the time. Everybody at McCloskey, I'm talking to you, thank you very much. But I was such a... Yeah, I was like answering everything. I'm like,
bringing your apple to classroom for your teacher.
My mom, this is so funny. I talk about my mom so much, but my mom was just such a G. So literally we would be, I'd be like, hey mom, I want this for lunch today. Because until my brother was in grade 3, my mom didn't work, so she was at home. And I'd be like, oh, I'm getting like, I want Chinese food. And I'd be like, okay, but you have to bring Chinese food for my teacher too. And then I would sit in at
You were the ultimate teacher's pet. That is, okay, yeah. See, I didn't do any of that.
Me. But to be fair, I was really, really close with my grade 1 teacher, Mrs. Hunter, and she took me out of ESL because she was like, oh, you can talk. And then she would always let me do, I remember I was really, this is such a sidetrack story, but I was really into pink Amazon river dolphins.
Okay.
It's just super random niche interest when I was younger. And all my teachers, like, you know how sometimes you're like, okay, kid, like, I'm sure as a teacher handling like 30 people, and then you have this person that's always on a passion project for no reason. I would make, like, you know, the poster boards? Yeah. And I would write out by hand, like, facts about the pink Amazon river dolphin, glue it all on, and then like, can I put this on the top?
I love that. See, I love that about you.
And I was like, do you think there's anything I can do better?
Core memory unlocked for you. Next passion project to do another one of dolphins.
Yeah, pink Amazon river dolphins to be exact. And I don't
know exact for your age to grade 1?
Yeah.
God, I don't know what it was.
I had 2 cousins that were like, I went to school with, and I don't know why, we were always in a competition. Like, grade 3, we were reading Harry Potter, and it was like we didn't even enjoy the book because it was who's gonna finish it first.
It wasn't even for the sake of reading it. No, it was just like, I want to beat you to it.
So I think I definitely was a confident kid, and thanks to my teachers too. Like I think they do really shape you at a young age. So I think
100%.
education is so important because I do not think I would be as confident as I am if it wasn't for my parents, but also the teachers I had in my first like formative years. And I think you feel the same way usually with education.
I completely agree. I mean, one, your confidence is built at home, but it's also secondly built in schools. And I feel like I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for my teachers, for the school, and for all the resources I was given. But unfortunately, nowadays, we're seeing that kind of lack of resources being supplied, especially
100%.
within the school district, because we're seeing more students than there are teachers. We're seeing portables being built. We're seeing the resources being scarce, and we're seeing food programs not being there for a lot of people. And I just feel like there's such a lack right now, and nowadays it's so scary to see what's going to happen, because it's so important that instead of just saying that they are the future, we foster our future. Because we can continue in saying, oh, we want to make sure we can have the strongest future, but how are we going to do that when our schools are overflowing? We have more students than we have schools. Yeah. They're building one school and saying, oh, we've built one school when there's 3 more that need to be built in the same area. So it just, the way we're going about it, no action's being delivered, but yet we say that our youth are our future. You can't say that,
it's a slogan
right?
for, I mean, that's probably going to be a very like controversial take, but I do think that saying like the youth are our future, the youth are our future, but not doing anything about it is
something
just
to throw out.
Yeah,
and I can say so many things, but if I'm not delivering action on it, if I'm not actually doing anything about it, what is the point? And like with us, our confidence was installed within schools. We were instilled with it. We were educated. We were aware, and we also got involved in programs because I know you were on your student council. Yeah. I was also in student council. I was on DIAC. You were in DIAC too. Yeah. And so there's so many programs we got involved with. Even I was in the sports team. I was on the soccer team too. And so all these clubs too, I remember after school programs, they shaped who I am today. Yeah. I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for all those little activities I did, all the teachers that were able to have the energy to give you that confidence. Because think about it, how is a teacher going to teach a classroom full of 40 students and give each of those students some time in the 30-minute classes, right? It doesn't make sense. So it's scary to see what's going on currently, and I do hope, I'm optimistic that it will take a turn and people will be more aware of what is happening, because we can't keep on throwing out the term that the youth are our future when no action is delivered upon it.
100%. And then on top of that as well, I agree with your point with just resources being so scarce, because I think what you instill in a child by high school is really like the most formative years. And if we are giving them no support, they're going to expect no support for a community, and then they have no reason to give back.
100%.
I think I feel such a need to give back or be involved or be there for the people that are there for me. Yeah. Because what did my teachers get from like driving us to basketball tournaments, doing all of that? Like I think I was so secure at school even because I felt like it was a community, and having that community made me feel like I could do anything.
100%.
So if we can't give that to now our students, and we're saying that, oh, like crime's going up, this is happening, the next generation doesn't care, the next generation doesn't care, did we have anything to care about? Yeah. And I think that's what I'm worried about. The same thing, it's scary because I am the way I am because I had a community. But what do you do when you've never seen a community? You haven't learned it.
And then they call the youth lazy, and it's like you can't call them lazy or call them that like they're not delivering action or doing anything when you're not providing them the resources, because you're such a young individual in high school and elementary school. Those are
I love that you're saying
years.
that literally 19. Like I graduated high school when I was 18. So she said I've lived it all. You're basically 25.
No, but like I feel like also being out of school not too long ago, I've seen like how it was kind of shifting too, because like I was lucky enough that I graduated and I saw all the good things happen, but I do know it's because I have a younger brother too, and to see like how everything's happening in schools, how there's not enough programs. I asked, oh, is this club still going on? No, it got canceled. Oh, how big are your classrooms? There's 40 students, 1 teacher. How is that even possible? Just to see these things happening now, it just like, whoa, like it shakes like you to the core, because it's like, this is our future, yet our future is struggling to have the resources that they need, and they're so crucial. I mean, I was even talking to actually my mom too. She works 2 jobs too, and she's like, I really wish I could put my kid into private school. And to hear that, like hear her say that, it was kind of like a knife to the heart, because it's like, education is a right for everybody. Every student should have a right to education. And the fact that the mom's blaming herself not being able to put her kid into a private school when that issue shouldn't be there in the first place, and that public schools should be providing our child everything that they need. It's like, when are we going to wake up and actually realize the issue isn't in the children nor the parents, it's within the system.
And I think we've been seeing alarm bells for a very long time. Because I started school, 5, 6 years before you. That's crazy. I feel old. But even then, the alarms were already sounding that, hey, 29 kids in a classroom is too big. 30 kids in a classroom is too big. And then you would get your split classes that had 35 kids, and that was like huge alarm bells. And teachers were really unhappy with the fact that now I'm teaching 2 different levels. Yeah. I can't give attention to these students the way that I used to. And to say that, like, I've been out of school for, 8 years now? That's even crazier. Yeah, that's crazy. But just to see the shift that I didn't even know it was 40 now. Because my time, 30 was a lot.
28 was a lot for us, too. I remember, like, when we used to, like, give out cards or candy to classrooms, it's like, how many kids in your class? 28? Whoa, that's, like, a lot, too. Because, like, think about it, how teachers are going to burn out so easily now, too. And, like, the portables, I think there was, like, a statement that was released, like a fact, that there's 300 plus portables in Surrey, which is, like, the largest amount of portables in all of Canada, which is crazy because, like, how are we going to get kids to sit in little portable boxes and, like, not provide them enough, like, resources, enough schools, and, like, teachers are obviously going to burn out because they don't have anything provided to them.
No, definitely. And just resources are huge. I know that we have a shortage of EAs and even just staff that are supposed to be there to really support the students that need it. And if they don't have that, I just don't understand how we can't give someone support, exactly back to what we were talking about, and then expect them to be good, upstanding members of society either. But
it just doesn't make sense, but I am optimistic things will take a turn where people are becoming more aware and more, like, get involved.
Even us talking about it, like, I hope this sparks conversation. I hope that, something
and I feel
starts.
like us being young too and raising our voices about this, it makes an impact because it just shows that we weren't out of school not too long ago, right? It's 8 years ago for you or 6 years ago for you. Not too long ago for me.
Honestly, I hope it wasn't that long ago and I made that number up, but I feel like just getting old.
No, but like at the end of the day, I feel like it is so important that we speak up.
Oh my God, no, I think it's like 7. Because I'm 25, you graduate when you're 18. That is like 7 years.
Oh, wow.
18, 19, 20. 22, 23. Yeah, it's like 7 years.
Wow, okay.
Crazy.
But I do, like you had mentioned, I do hope that this sparks some awareness and people are a little bit more aware of what's going on within the system because it's something that we should be speaking on more about because at the end of the day, being young, we know the impact that the younger generation can make. And in those classrooms, there's leaders, there's prime ministers sitting, there's doctors and engineers that are going to walk out those classrooms that we must provide the resources for. So,
Our future is our kids.
Our future is our kids.
So crazy. Now, speaking of even you just being in the education system, when did you start off with kind of activism and being an advocate? Because I know we started off more in the climate space, and now we've gone to more youth representation, civic representation. I know you love Surrey. We'll get into that in a second too. But what really sparked it? Like, what made you want to say that, hey, I want to make a difference, and this is how I'm going to do it?
So honestly, this kind of started when I was really young. I remember, I think it was in grade 4, and I got involved within like the election that was currently taking place. It was like the federal election. And I remember learning about policies. And those policies, I was like, wow, policies can make such an impact on so many people. Yeah. Elected officials, leadership, it makes such an impact. And so I knew that after high school, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to get more hands-on experience. So I think that was partially a reason why it was like, I want to get school done. I want to make an impact. I want to get into the real world, right? And so I actually did a pageant right after I had graduated in the same year. So I competed for Miss BC in 2023, I believe. Wow, would that feel so long ago? 2023, 2024, I can't even remember actually. 23. So I was crowned.
It's 2 years ago. I'm telling you, I graduated school here.
No, but I'm just like, wow, time has flown by. But okay, so I competed in the Miss BC pageant in 2023. I was crowned Miss Southern BC. And then I went to compete at Nationals, and then I was crowned Miss Fundraiser Canada. But I think pageantry there's such a myth about it that people assume that pageantry is all about beauty and all about looks. But that was like the furthest thing from the case. And like, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to do the pageant. But a lot of my family members, like my mussies, were like, I want you to do this pageant because we want to do this pageant. Just do it and you'll enjoy it. And I was like, no, I don't want to walk around in a dress. That's not my thing. Because I was such a tomboy. Growing up, I was like, I don't want to do the dresses. I don't want to do the heels. And so when I got involved within the program, they're like, you need to have something that you have something that you're talking about and a platform to like advocate about. Yeah. And I was like, what are things that are meaningful and purposeful to me, like that I know I'm passionate about and I actually can make an impact about. And so climate change was always something that was like close to my heart. It was like, how can we make sure people are aware of how we can be sustainable, how we can make an impact and make sure that Mother Nature is the healthiest and most best version of herself, because we've seen what's happening with pollution and all that kind of stuff. So I started to kind of advocate about making sure that education was accessible to a lot of younger people. And so we started spreading this information to younger generations to show them like this is what sustainability looks like.
I love that.
Yeah, just kind of simplified because I mean, who wants to read like a 200-page essay about like environmental sustainability?
Someone's thesis.
Yeah, it's like it gets to a point where like people don't understand where to start, and it's like I don't blame them from not getting involved because like it's so confusing. Like, how do I learn all about this? And so that was my thing. It's like, how do I spread education and awareness among the younger demographic? And so that kind of turned into a passion project for me. And
everything starts from a passion project.
Right, it really does. And then I started kind of advocating about that. I started connecting with a lot of people within that space. And then I feel like I learned and I got a lot of more passionate about those things. And then it kind of diverted into youth civic engagement because I'm a political science student currently. And I was like, why aren't young people voting? There's a huge deficit among young people.
Huge, right?
Because like I have so many friends that's like, oh, like, are you going to go out and vote? And they're like, elections are happening, and I'm just like, you haven't seen the boards in the city?
I think it's so important that you do that because I've noticed that amongst my friends too is when one of us starts caring, it's almost like a ripple effect where then we're asking each other. I'm like, okay, show me your sticker. I'm like, you voted? Where's this? And then now we're asking each other. Now, honestly, in the best way, then you start judging people that aren't because your whole friend group did it. So if all of us could make the time to go vote, why didn't you vote?
And voting's a right that we have that we don't understand the value of. There's so many countries that wish they had that right.
And especially women of color. It's just women in general. We haven't had the vote for as long as, like, people really take it for granted. And it's what the generation before us couldn't vote on their own. Like, that is insane.
And so when people say that they don't want to vote because they don't think it'll make an impact, it's like, you don't understand how big of an impact one vote even has. Because voting is a right for everybody, but it's so important that we actually go in and exercise it, right? Youth civic engagement, getting involved and making sure that we're able to, one, be aware of what's going on, what policies are being promised, and who is running in these leadership positions, because they play such a vital role in our day-to-day lives. And like the policies made now, they may not affect us immediately, but they will affect us in the years to come, right? Because like there's so many policies that were made in the early 2000s that affected the demographic later on, and they're just like, wow, why is all this stuff happening? It's because they didn't vote. And if you stay aware, even if you take 5 minutes out of your day to stay up to date with what policies are being promised, what platforms have these specific things that they want to focus on, it makes such a vital difference. So that's why I actually go on CBC to advocate about young people getting involved, making sure that they vote and stay informed and tell your friends, because like you had said, if one of your friends is voting and actually telling everybody else to vote, that's the best thing possible.
It makes a huge difference.
100%.
And also, we do need to be voting now because, okay, say it doesn't affect us now, but it's going to affect the next generation. A lot of us want to have kids. A lot of us want to raise families here. And you're really building the BC that your children are going to grow up in, or this Surrey. Because I think we're huge on that, too. I love that Surrey's growing. It makes me so incredibly happy. Like, the place that you didn't want to say that you were from.
The fastest growing city in all of Canada right now.
And I used to always say that I'm from North Delta, because technically I'm from North Delta. But I just feel like the community is so small and so strong, and there's so much that we are doing, but I always think there's more that we can do.
There's so much in Surrey. There's so much value it has, too. It's like we have to let that value shine. We have to make sure that Surrey is able to grow in the best way possible, because there's so much talent. There's so much that it can achieve, but it's like, how do we go about it, too? That's why I say I love the city of Surrey, and I'm a proud Surrey resident, because I know the beauty of the city of Surrey, and I know that it can make such an impact. I mean, look at everything that's going on right now, all the developments that are happening, the constant growing, and even the population. I mean, even in the school systems, how we have so many students coming in, that's a really good thing. But it just like, we have to make sure that we can balance it out where we're supporting that growth in Surrey.
Definitely. For other young leaders, because there's so much talent in Surrey. I always say this, there's so much talent here. What do you think young leaders need more of, or need less of? Honestly, like, do we need less people telling you to be quiet because you're young? Do we need more support? Like, where do you think we're lacking here for young leaders?
I think for young leaders, what we need is to make sure that we can support one another, especially like with the older demographic, because I think like this is something that we've discussed a lot. It's about making sure that not only does the younger generation help the older generation, but the older generation helps the younger generation. Because when we bridge that gap, that's how we grow together and we're stronger. Because there's no me versus you thing. There's no point of that. I mean, once we start doing that, that's when we slow down the growth. That's how we slow down the action from being delivered. So my thing is, if you're a young person who wants to get involved, go get involved. But it's also like, we need to make sure we're supporting our youth and uplifting them. Because I always say this, when one young person's winning, we're all winning.
We're all winning.
Because like, it's so nice to see so many young people making that action, making that effort, and actually making sure that they can make a positive impact within their communities. And I feel like that's who you give a lot of your platforms to. You make sure young people's voices are represented, which thank you and Times for Canada for doing so, because it's so vital we shed light on these stories and we support them the best way we can.
And I also think that really relates back to what you had said earlier about we're only competing with yourself. I feel like we're so open to collaborating, and I never see something that you do as a threat. Honestly, if anything, it like warms my heart. I'm
it's
like, okay,
a win.
Like,
your win is my win. My win's your win, and that's all it is.
We need to get rid of that, especially in our community. Like I think I love Surrey, but instead of competing with each other, especially like I think younger leaders now, if you're competing with yourself, you're growing, and then you have the opportunity to collaborate with other people, and then that's huge growth.
Yeah.
Like 10 youth leaders could have so much impact if they work together. Like we don't have to be working separately.
Think about the magic that we've created just working together and going out to these events together, like the awareness we've spread. And I feel like that's something that we need to be more aware about, because the demographics, the generations before us, there was that lack of like, I want to collaborate with you, I want to support you. And it would just because it was instilled in them for some odd reason. But for us, what we've learned is that when we work together, when we collaborate and support one another, that is the best thing we can possibly do.
And it's fun.
And it's so refreshing too, because it's like I just want to be in a group of very positive people that are supportive of one another, and that there's no bad intentions, because bad intentions don't let you grow nor me grow, right? So it's like, what's the point of that? So it's like, how can I help my friend grow the best way possible? And how can we work together and make a better impact in the community? And that's all it is.
It takes a village. Everything takes a village. And I think we're really starting to put that out there. And even when you say like, we've made an impact by even being out, and I think we have, because I think people do talk about the fact that we're two young women doing things that honestly may not be the norm.
No,
and I love that.
It's so weird that it isn't, because I feel like for us, it's like, this is just like a
normal day.
Right? This is like a normal day in our lives. I mean, like last month, I think it was that we went to Parliament too. And like, it was a very nice day, because I have to say, because it was spent with you, a young person with me. And it's just like, look at the beauty that happens when two young women work together and they are inclusive and they want to collaborate, and the achievements that they can achieve together, right? So that was something that it's going to be a core memory for life.
I think same here. And I also don't think people realize in the 70s, people of color weren't allowed. In the legislative assembly, we weren't allowed in Parliament.
And here we're getting ready in South Asian apparel on our way
to go celebrate Diwali. And I feel like that moment was big for us, because we went into it thinking that. Like, not only am I a woman, I'm a South Asian woman able to do this, and I'm doing it with one of my best friends. But I think on the other end, a lot of people perceived it as a waste. We heard that from a lot of people. And I never understood that.
I still don't understand it. And I think I don't know if it's coming from either a place of, I don't know what it is. I think it's a place from not a lot of love. Clearly, but I think there's no point of trying to bring another person down, especially a young woman. When I see that happening, it's very disheartening, because what I want is the support from the demographics above us. And what I want is us to grow together. I don't want any division, because division is the root cause of all hatred. And what's the point of all that, right?
100%.
And we've seen this happen over and over again, but yet we don't learn from the stories that have happened, the issues that have happened because of it.
We're not living. I mean, it's coming back in waves. We've seen, like, again, racism rise. But I think not appreciating that we were allowed to be in South Asian apparel at Parliament, legislature, is just, it's a whole, I think you miss the story.
It's like a kind of punch to the gut too when you miss that whole, like, the main purpose behind it.
To do this.
Because think about it, we could have pulled up in blazers, but we chose not to, because we knew the beauty behind all of it. And we're making it very, like, obvious, like, this is something very beautiful, and something we should celebrate as a collective, and something that we should be very, very proud of. But honestly, it was a beautiful day, and I have to say that it was something that we should all be proud of as a community, because there's nothing better than to show diversity at such a high level.
And I think the more that we show representation, I think it's always like to see is to be. So if we can be that for younger girls, or we have women that have been that for us, I think being there and being in the rooms where decisions are made is so important.
100%.
Because we know what we need. No one else knows what we need.
And it's important that we actually deliver the action upon it. So.
Making change.
I love that.
You have to make change. Now, I mean, everyone's always asking. So, sorry, I always have to ask as well.
Okay.
What's next, Miss Girl? She's graduating.
Next? Yeah.
I think anytime me and you are in a room and we're doing things, honestly, sometimes out of just the kindness for her or passion for the initiative, The first question is...
What kind of question do we get, Gitanjali? What's the main question we get?
So when are you two running for politics?
The amount of times we've gotten this question, it's actually mind-boggling. And I think we would have, if we had $1 for every time we were asked this question, we'd have a yacht by now. So I'm kind of irritated that we don't have $1 for every time we got asked this question, because I feel like, one, it's humorable in a sense where we're speaking about it right now, but I also think it's kind of like, oh, so this is why you think I'm doing all the work I'm doing? And it kind of feels, it feels
icky.
And it's like, do you, like, it's not even about it, me feeling icky. It's like, does this kind of come across as like, oh, but it's not even like that. I think it's like, is this what it means to others when you create a positive impact in the community? Does making a positive impact, does taking time out of your day to deliver action in others' eyes seem like something that is for their self-purpose, self-benefit, you know? Yeah. It's like, that's not never what we want to try to come across as. And I feel like we do everything with pure intentions, and that's why we've been graciously allowed to kind of grow. Yeah. And we've been able to strive and just kind of make a purposeful impact in the community. But we get this question asked a lot. It's like, when are you going to run? And it's like, I don't think that question...
That's not the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
It's really not. And I feel like I wish that others would be a little bit more aware of that too, because it's like, we do everything for a reason because we're passionate about it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do all the things I'm doing right now if I didn't have a passion behind it.
Oh, if you didn't care, I feel like if you don't care, it becomes very obvious.
And you burn out. It's like, so if you see me on a panel at CBC and you see me speaking very like passionately about it, it's because I'm actually very caring about that topic, and I understand the importance behind it. I won't do anything that I don't actually see a passion behind, that I don't actually see something evolving out of, because everything that I do, it's for a greater sake, right? And so when we get asked this question, I feel like we laugh about it a lot. Yeah. It's like, oh.
Because what else do you really say
It's a very awkward question to ask you. It's like, no.
Sometimes I'm like, why am I giving you the impression that that's what I'm going to do? But I think it also says a lot for like society, where if you're doing good things, you think that you're doing it for a personal gain somewhere.
See, you worded it so graciously, because I feel like I was just like, how do I communicate what I'm trying to like?
Without being rude, right?
No, it's not even about being rude, but like, what is it that actually goes on in my mind when that question's asked? It's because like we do everything with such pure intentions. It's like, that's never the reason why we do everything. Because you and me would be so tired, we'd be so burnt out, and like there's so much more life left ahead of us.
Yeah,
right?
we're like so excited. We're like rah. Let's get this done.
And so when we're asked this question, it's nice to see that they acknowledge we have good leadership skills. I'll take that as a compliment.
Like,
you see me as a leader. I appreciate that. I'm grateful for that. But it's like, when it comes to politics, yes, I adore it. I love policies. I love getting involved, making sure we can make a positive impact. And I like spreading awareness among the younger demographic that you too should get involved. And you too should be voting. You should be telling your friends to vote. And you should keep yourself up to date on what policies are going on and see where you can get involved.
You should care.
You should care, and that's because it's your right, and it's something that you shouldn't ever take for granted. I remember when I first was able to vote, I voted the first day.
You went for early, right?
I went the first day. I was the first person in line. I'm like, I'm going to cast my vote, and I was so excited because I knew the importance behind it from a younger age. I was like, okay, I can't wait to vote, but I'm going to make sure that I can do anything I can to actually advocate for others to vote. I remember actually I was on my first CBC panel for the provincial election, and this is before I could vote, I think. So it's like I couldn't even vote, but I was still advocating. Because I knew the importance behind it too, and it was a very close election too. So it's like I knew that young people had a big part to play in that election. So I was like, go out, get involved, and vote, right, and make an impact. And so when I'm asked this question, yes, I appreciate that you see me as a leader, and I will take that compliment.
But please stop asking us.
It's not. You can ask that question as many times as you want, but I think what it is don't take away from the work that we're actually doing from being for something that it's really not for. We do everything with pure intentions. We do everything with a passion and a purpose behind it, because we know that it can lead to such a beautiful outcome. I mean, if you didn't do everything that you did, you wouldn't have these beautiful events where women came together and supported one another. If I didn't take that leap of faith in me and actually say I want to start advocating about civic engagement, I wouldn't be able to go on CBC and talk about these important topics. So it's like, we do everything because we know that there's so much stuff that can happen out of such a beautiful concept of actually delivering stuff with purpose and passion. And so it's like, it's not even for that whole
reason at all.
Yeah.
And if anything, I think I do it more even now to just be a person that people can approach in a room. Like, I love when we were first becoming friends, we would just be in the same rooms because we were two young women trying to do similar things. And I think we both weren't intimidated to just kind of
And I think that's how we bonded so effortlessly because we were in the same mindset, wavelength, right? It's like We do everything because we enjoy it.
We enjoy it.
It's
and
not
that's
because,
like, for our young women out there too, I think if you want to go to events or you want to get involved, you'll realize really quickly how small the community of people actually attending or doing things, or as Suhana actually very perfectly worded, is moving things forward and pushing for change really is. Like, it's a very small community once you start showing up and showing out. And you'll have us in a room. And I think that's where it really starts, because you'll meet some of your best friends, you'll meet some of your biggest supporters by just doing what you're passionate about.
And I think one thing what we keep in mind when we go to these events is to make sure that we're very approachable to the younger demographics. Because we want to make sure that you feel involved, you feel like you're meant to be there. Because honestly, I think there was this quote that I heard, something about like, oh, it's like in every room, sometimes you're so intimidated by the people in that room, and you think that you're not meant to be there. That's just a myth in your mind. You're meant to be in any room that you are in. It's just a matter of believing in yourself and knowing that, hey, I bring value. I am the best version of myself, and I can achieve anything I put my mind to. It's not because you're not meant to be there. Doors open up when you believe in yourself, and I feel like that's something that I get a lot of questions of like, how do I go to these events? How do I get involved? It's like you just start acting and making sure that you can deliver things with purpose and passion behind it. Everything happens effortlessly.
Fake it till you make it. I am huge on that, because I don't think people will always ask us like, how do you have things figured out? And honestly, a lot of the time I'm figuring
it out. Do we have it figured out?
I figure it out as I go.
Yeah, and I think
it pushes you to learn things. So sorry to cut you off there, but like, I think a lot of what I've learned is because I had to.
Yeah.
Like, I need this done today, so I'm gonna do it. Like, we just 100%. Gotta figure it out.
But you worded it perfectly. It is just kind of going with the flow, and everything kind of falls into place by itself.
Exactly what you were saying. What's meant to be will be, and I think anything that's not for me will never be for me. So I never sit there and stress about, oh, did I miss this opportunity to do this? Don't get me wrong, I'll reflect. I'll say, okay, like, what are things I can do better in the future? But if X, Y, and Z was meant for me, it would already be there for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's only so much groundwork you can put in, and if something's not meant to be, it's not going to be.
But if it is, then it will be.
Exactly. What do you think was your first moment of knowing that you were a leader? I think I was a very bossy kid. So my mom and dad will give you 14 examples of me yelling at them, probably.
I love that. Little bit boundary.
Yeah. No, I was, I don't know if I could handle, like, being my own parent. Like, I think I was a menace as a child. And I was very teacher's pet, performances. Mom, is my suit ready? Mom, did you do this yet? Like, I just, little diva running the show.
I think for me, at a young age, I was always somebody who liked to be in charge of things. Like, I like to be, like, the leader of the group project. I like to make sure that I was able to put everything together, because it just, like, I needed to make sure that everything was perfectly put together, right? It was like everything has to fall in place, like you with your suits, like, right? Just making sure that everything is there and ready to go. I think for me, when I realized I enjoy leadership and that it's something that I kind of like do, like, want to go towards naturally, it was when I actually left high school, right? When I got involved in the pageants and I started getting involved in the community. I started taking in platforms, advocating about things that I was passionate about. And I feel like that kind of slowly grew into leadership and like what it means to be a leader by delivering action and getting involved and taking that leap of faith. But no, I was definitely a bossy kid myself too. I was somebody that always wanted to.
We would have hated each other.
Honestly, imagine us doing a group project. I would have been like, no, I want to do this style project.
And I'd be like, no, we're doing this.
So it was always something that I was like very vocal about my opinions, my thoughts. I was very honest about everything. Even in classrooms, like my hand would shoot up right away if I had something I wanted to say.
And beating other people out, you're like, no, me.
Yeah, and I would always make sure that I stayed informed too. I mean, I started watching the news when I was like in elementary school. I think I was in grade 3. My mom would like have the news on and I'd be like, Mom, I don't want to watch cartoons. I want to watch the news.
Okay.
And then I would go to class, in my socials class, I'd be like, this is what's happening in our community.
Yeah.
And that's something that naturally, like, it helped me evolve into a leader, somebody who wanted to take on action, somebody who wanted to make an impact. And I feel like leadership there's so many ways you can interpret what that means. But I feel like at the end of the day, leadership to me means something that, one, you're very inclusive. You want everybody to grow around you. You want to uplift everybody around you. But you also want to make sure that you're doing everything with the purest of intentions and make sure that you're leading to a purposeful action that actually is for not only yourself, for the greater good of the community. So I feel like leadership in that sense we can relate to, because you with all your amazing events, like
I try my best.
Ignite happening fairly soon.
Yeah, February 27th.
Make sure you get your tickets.
That wink was probably horrendous. Yeah, Suhana will be there too.
We'll be there.
Come. Yeah. And it's great conversations. I honestly do put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that event.
I trust me, I see it. I see all the hard work that's going on during the times that the events are being put together. I was like, Gatanji, I haven't seen you for so long. This one is working. She's putting in the hard work. And so make sure you get your tickets because it is a young South Asian woman behind all of this magic.
You're
so
the sweetest. You're like,
tickets.
let me plug it for you. I didn't even need to plug it.
No, but it is because I went to that event with my mom and my masi actually for the first time. And I remember I was like, all of you have to come with me because it is a young South Asian woman. And I just like that win for you was a win for me. I walked in and I was like, yes, this is our win.
This is our win. And we did it together.
We see so many South Asian women. And so many just women in that room. It's like, wow, you hear these stories, you learn about the hard work that other women are putting in, and you shed light on these stories. And it's something that you can take so much away from, so much inspo and so much just like you go home and you're like, oh my God, I was in a space of just so much love and happiness.
Yeah. And I really think that's something that I am so keen on is I don't want it to feel like I think you can always do an event that looks pretty. You can always make changes that way to make an event better. But I feel like the feeling of love is something that I never want to lose, where I'll compromise sometimes other things or even funding. Honestly, a lot of the time where I could have people in the room, but do you give the value to the other people in the room? Like, are you going to make people feel welcome? Are you going to make people feel loved? Because I think last Ignite, same thing. I walked out of that room and I was like, that felt so loving.
Goosebumps, right?
Yeah, there was just so much love in that room. And I'm excited.
That was your first event, right?
Yeah, that was like my baby.
I feel like that was like one of your many events, but it's like that was the first women's empowerment event you hosted. And it was such a beautiful event. I mean, I met so many lovely women at that event. And you get to connect with these individuals and see how we can work together as a collective. Yeah. And you walk away with goosebumps, like I had said, and so much love and admiration for the community. And it's like you look forward to these things because you learn about other stories. You come home with a lot of happiness and a lot of purpose and a lot of inspo. And it's just like something I look forward to every year.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm going to cry. I'm crying after this episode in the car.
I'm already planning my outfit for that event.
Okay, good. Yeah. I love that. Speaking of outfits, I have some rapid fire questions for you. People are always surprised when I find out I actually
am younger than I look because I feel like when I the way I carry myself, it's very like for some reason, people find that younger people aren't really put together. So the way I carry myself, I dress in blazers and I wear very like...
I think that you're a really like mature person too, though.
The way I speak too, I feel like that kind of catches people off guard in a sense where they think that I'm much more older than I am.
Do you think did you always speak so like eloquently or do you think that came on during pageantry?
I honestly think that I just spoke like this because I used to read so many books and I used to like pick up like big words from the books and be like, okay, how do I use this in my sentence next day? How do I like show my teacher, wow, I can use this big fancy word?
So she was a teacher's pet too, it wasn't just me.
Yeah, but I didn't bring food for my teacher like you did.
Okay, side eye. I had a great childhood experience, with my teachers. Okay, my bestie. I was so fat. I couldn't run around at lunch anyway.
I was too. This is how we bond together, right?
I was so fat. Thank you, Mom. If Surrey had a national anthem, it would be...
If Surrey had a national anthem, we will rock you.
I love it.
Because that city has so much to offer, and it is one of the fastest growing cities in the world. Or sorry, in Canada.
She said in the world.
But honestly, in the world too, because City of Surrey has so much to offer. It is growing tremendously, and it has so much that it can bring in the future. So yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot coming. I will wait for your next time on this to talk about more things because I was going to give something away, I think. But my toxic trait is thinking I can
say yes to everything because I feel like we can relate on this. We want to make sure that everybody's very happy and we want to give our best to everything. And I feel like sometimes that does take away from not the time aspect, but like you burn out, like you get tired. There's days that you just want to sleep in, and there's days that you just don't want to do something. But I feel like it's both a good and bad thing. But I think that's a part of being a leader in a community too, because it's always like you want to continue and doing so many things and saying yes to everything. But it's sometimes so important that you take that time and actually think about it and take a step back, because not everything.
Recharge, because the minute you don't recharge, I think you start not showing up 100%.
And you need to burning out, right? And you want to be the best version of yourself. So it's like, how do I do this? You have to make sure everything is properly put together. It's organized, and you have to be on top of everything. Like, you have to make sure, like, you understand.
Google Calendar is our best friend.
Oh, I love her.
I love Google Calendar. When we hang out, it's in Google Calendar. Like, if it's not in my calendar, I'm not there.
It's so
sad, but
it catches
just
my friends off guard to the, like, why do you need to put it in your calendar? They're like, can you just remember? It's like,
no, I will
can't.
forget. I will genuinely forget. And then I'm going to have 2 events the same day that I said yes to. And then I do that, though. Sometimes I feel like I accidentally overcommit. Yeah. And then I make it, like, I can't let people down.
I think that we relate on this a lot too.
It's like 4 events one night. I'm like driving. I'm like, Suhana, hop in my car at 4. We're gonna do this from 4 to 5, this from 5 to 6, this from 6 to 7, and then we're still gonna show up to that dinner from 7 to 8.
There's a day we went to like 4 events in one day, and then we went to dinner after that. It was a long day, but that's what I mean. Like, I feel like now as we're growing to, like, we're starting to kind of learn and see the importance of sometimes taking that step back and recharging, because it's so important that you can give your 100% without taking away from it, right? So
our next one is the most unhinged email I've ever sent about community work said what?
Most unhinged? Okay. Wow. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Most unhinged, sorry, say that again?
Email, or you could do text. Like, what is the most unhinged thing you've done for community work? I said email because I feel like sometimes you would send an angry email.
I send a lot of emails too. I think a couple of them was for the advocacy for voting purposes. When you see people like talking about politics and the representation that there lacks to be among young people, it was like, I think I sent a couple in high school. Like, it was like I sent them to a bunch of news outlets.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was in high school this time, so I didn't know I was gonna be one of the people on those panels at a young age, which is something that
you just
pat on the back moment, because I remember being young. I was like, this was for a journalism class, I believe, in high school. So I was like, why is there no representation for the younger demographic? So I sent I think I sent over 30 emails to various news outlets, various newsrooms, and like magazine platforms. So I was like, young people need their voice to be heard. So that's my most unhinged moment, I guess.
I love that.
But hey, now we're seeing young people being represented and actually spreading awareness. So it's nice to see.
I feel like unhinged works. People like
it does, because sometimes you manifest things to happen. I mean, I was in high school doing all this, so now just looking back at it, it's like, wow, what would that younger Suhana think of what's going on currently? It's like, it amazes me. Yeah.
Now, what is your Roman Empire right now?
Roman Empire. That's a good one. I don't even know.
Surprise. Honestly, I would say your Roman Empire is getting the youth to vote, for one, starters.
I believe so too. I think my Roman Empire right now is just for young people to believe in themselves and whatever they want to achieve, that take that leap of faith. Don't let any constraints push you backwards, because there's so many things that are going to come up. So many people are going to say, are you sure you want to do this now? Are you sure you can do this? Are you sure that you're capable of doing this? It's like, there's no right time to start. It's when you choose to start, that's the best time. I mean, you could start right now if you wanted to. It's like, if you have passion behind something, get it done, because everything will fall into place. It won't be easy, like, don't get me wrong, nothing's easy in life. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that we've put into things, and we can relate to this.
Crying, screaming, throwing up every weekend, but you do it.
But it's like, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you, and that's the honest truth. I remember when I first started out doing everything that I'm currently doing, sometimes my parents would be like, okay, just take your time, maybe like you're over like whelming yourself. But that was never the case, because it's like, you know what you can achieve, you know your limits too, and you also know your capabilities. So take action on what you know you are possible of achieving, and believe in yourself. Don't let anything stop you.
I think honestly, to add on to that too, what you said was, you know yourself better than anybody else. And I feel the same for self-advocacy. No one will ever stand up for you the way you stand up for yourself. 100%. And I don't love that about the way that I feel like our community is right now. But I do think that you have to be strong enough to really take that on head first and be like, well, I'm doing this with pure intention, so what? It just,
it's at the end of the day, I feel like you have to deliver action no matter what, especially like you had said in our community, sometimes we see that lack, but it's like, if you believe in it,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay, now we're into some rapid fires.
Okay.
Since Suhana loves Surrey. Surrey Central or Guildford?
Surrey Central.
You like that mall?
Mall? I thought you meant area.
No, mall. My bad.
Oh, okay. Guildford Mall.
Guildford Mall's better.
Why you just said the names?
God. Would you rather go to a policy meeting or go for brunch?
A policy meeting, because that can lead to a greater outcome, and plus I can go to brunch afterwards.
Okay, you're right.
But
2 in 1.
Policy meeting may not be able to be moved.
This is my favorite one ever. What's more intimidating, older politicians or brown onions?
I'm gonna be so for real. I think like not really any of them, because I feel like we come to a place in time where it's like nothing really affects us. But if I had to choose between the two, I think it would be brown aunties.
It's a little bit scary.
But I do think, like I had said, I'm at a time right now, it's like there's nothing really I'm really scared of to face, because I feel like when we start getting involved in the community, you meet a lot of people, and sometimes you meet people that may have different opinions than you, and that's okay. And you meet a lot of people that may seem intimidating at first, but I feel like I've been in those rooms where I was so nervous at first. I remember I was at my first United Nations event in Vancouver, and I was like 16, and I was in these rooms with these huge like CEOs, and I was so intimidated at first, but then once I started talking and speaking, I kind of lost that like fear. It was like, I'm meant to be in that room. There's a reason I'm in this room, and there's not any reason that I shouldn't be in this room because there's some big CEO here, right? So I don't think that there's anything I'm very fearful of in those circumstances, and I think that you could relate to that too, because you've seen your fair share too, and you face these issues too, right?
Do it, and I think that's the biggest thing is you just keep it rolling.
Yeah, I mean, life happens, and like we've seen recently with you. It's like
my favorite episode ever. But no, and I think people are going to say what they're going to say, but as long as your goals don't change and you're continuing to do you and chase what you want, I think everything external is just noise. If
you know who you are, that's all that matters, and I feel like nothing will ever take away from that, because that is the only person you need to believe
is yourself. Honestly, and maybe like my mom and dad, but
mom and dad will always be there to support us, right?
Okay, what is one thing that you think Gen Z does better than everybody else?
They deliver action. Rather than just speaking about things, they get the work done. And I feel like that's just the beauty of our generation. Sure, people may say that's blunt, and they may say that they're too blunt, but I feel like the beauty of our generation lies within the honesty that we have, and also the work ethic we have too. It's like we have to get it done. And we've seen this slowly happen too. I mean, like, look at New York City. That was just an amazing election, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like that was like, even though we're in Canada, we just see the impact that the younger demographic can make. So that's the beauty of the younger demographic.
I love it. Biggest ick in the leadership community?
Saying so many things but never leading to action, right? Like we had said before earlier in the episode, it's like, youth are our future, but where's the action?
What is the most main character thingy that you've done this year?
I think just going back to back on CBC to advocate about a cause, about a thing that I'm very, very passionate about, which was making sure young people got involved within youth civic engagement, and that leading to other doors being opened up where I could collaborate with the political science department, where I could work together with professors, professionals, and just lead to a better and more awareness being spread amongst the community.
I love that. Okay, our last question for you, Miss Gill, is we're actually going to get you to look in your camera and give us one piece of advice in a sentence. So one sentence of advice for the next gen. Okay,
my one piece of advice that I often give is believe in yourself. And I know that this may sound like overly used, because often it really is, but I'm being so honest when I say this. If you believe in yourself, you can get it done. You can achieve anything you put your mind to, because that's when others around you start believing in yourself. Sometimes the beginning isn't, actually most times, the beginning is never easy. But once you start to work on it consistently, everything starts to fall into place, and that's all that matters, that you continue working on, you continue with your grit, you continue with your self-belief, because you are meant to do everything great that you put your mind to.
That was beautiful. I don't think I could have ended this episode any better. Perfect. Thank you for being on the episode. Thank you for letting me drive her here, because everyone knows what happened last week.
Yeah, I heard about that story.
Almost over the border. But thank you guys for tuning into the Next Gen podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. It helps and it makes me feel good. So make sure to like.
The younger demographic, and it's a Youth Gen podcast.
Thank you, exactly, the Next Gen. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next Thursday at 12 p.m.
Perfect. All right, thank you.